Well, hello again, and as usual, apologies for the terrible production quality. This is just camera on screen again. I was just having my breakfast, and I was watching a bit of this Ben Emlyn Jones World Disclosure Day 2023 live stream. Wishful thinking on Ben's part, of course. Nothing to disclose, but I thought this was this. You know, I was really surprised at Ross Coulthart. Now I know he's a UFO fanboy and he's got a book to sell, but he's really plummeting headfirst off a cliff with regard credibility. I think he's supposed to be an investigative journalist, and you know he's done quite a lot of mainstream investigative journalism. But this, what he's saying here, I think, completely lacks any critical thinking ability.
Okay.
Now, the interviewer has just said that Congress have given all these people 6 months to present any evidence they might have with regard ET visiting and analysis of extraterrestrial materials to Arrow for peer review, to get it peer reviewed. So he said, you know, where is this evidence? Now Ross Coulthart is going to say, well, some of this is so big that it can't be moved, it can't be presented. Now, I think personally, now here he's going to talk about, they've been talking about this recovered alien spacecraft that supposedly is as big as a football field. This is what I think he's talking about here. And he's used the word shit. Someone said, you know, some of this, why don't they present some of this shit? You know how the Americans talk. I'm not sure this guy is American, but it's sort of got into the vocabulary. So Ross is responding with the same language.
People are going to question what I'm about to say.
Ooh.
What if some of that shit is so big it can't be moved?
Now, in the original interview, when this Grush told him that you know, one of these things was as big as a football field, I thought, yeah, right. How would that be moved anywhere? You know, how would you start to analyse something like that? How many people would it take? You know, you'd be talking about a huge operation. So now they've come up with an answer. It wasn't moved. They put a building over it.
Is that what you're saying, Ross? Is that what you've been told?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
How big is big?
Big. So big they built a building over
it. Yeah, sorry, Ross. I mean, really, this guy now has zero credibility. Put him in the same box as Jeremy Corbell, George Knapp, you know, Stephen Greer, all these people that have been peddling this bloody nonsense. He's no investigative journalist.
In a country outside of the United States of America.
Okay, so they've put a building over it in a country that's outside of the United States of America. Now, just think about that for a minute. Now, why didn't he say it was as big as a football field? He's just saying it's big. But this is going to be the thing he's talking about. So it's outside of the United States of America. So it'd be an awful lot of kudos for the country that it's in to announce that they've got it, wouldn't it? How many people would it be involved in building something like that? You know, you'd be talking about hundreds of construction workers. Why wouldn't one of those just take some video footage of it with their phone, with their mobile phone, and put it on the internet? Not one of them has done that. Kremlin Jones says, well, they might be told that they'll never work again if they leak this. But if they leaked it, they would never have to work again, would they? Because they would get paid a fortune for any video footage of a real alien spacecraft. There's no critical thinking ability here whatsoever. So not only have you got all the construction workers in and out, you'd have to have massive security around it all. Then you'd have people that are actually researching it, doing the research on it, going in and out, flying over to this other country. There would be a money trail. Any serious investigative journalist would be able to find out who's involved, because they'd be going in and out of the country all the time, on a regular basis, and would be able to report on it. Now he considers himself an investigative journalist. Now this is interesting, because he's going to say he knows exactly where it is. He knows exactly where it is, but he's not going to tell us. So what sort of investigative journalist is that? Because he knows if he tells us, people will go and have a look and they'll go, you're talking out of your backside. Put a line through it, people aren't going to be buying his book, and this is all going to disappear back into obscurity.
It's not the John Ratcliffe Hospital. I'm sure I would know if that was the case. And I would tell you, wouldn't I?
I know that sounds preposterous, and I know...
It certainly does, and it sounds absolutely ludicrous.
Oh my God, you can just hear them now, the bleating debunkers.
Yeah, but the bleating debunkers are capable of critical thinking. The bleating debunkers want to see evidence. They say, okay, you know where it is. You're an investigative journalist. Tell us where it is. Show us it on Google Earth. We'll have a look at it on Google Earth, you know. Show us some evidence.
Let's see this investigated.
Yeah, well, let's see it investigated. Absolutely. Isn't that what you're supposed to be doing, Mr. Coulthart? Investigating this? I mean, if this was real, he could say, well, here it is. Here are the people working on it. Here are the people that have told me about it. It would blow it out of the water, and they'd have no choice but to investigate it. Why is he sitting on it? Just like he's sitting on the results from the alien sphere he found in Texas. He hasn't told us yet that that's just a plain old ball check valve manufactured in the USA, which is what it's going to turn out to be. He's sitting on those results because it's nothing extraordinary.
Let's just see what happens. Let's test these allegations before the Congress.
Absolutely. Let's do exactly that. And they'll be tested, and they'll be found to be science fiction.
It's very, very easy for people to go, oh, there's no evidence. Oh, my goodness me.
Oh, do I sound like that? Of course, the last thing any serious investigator would want to see is evidence, isn't it, Mr. Coulthart? Because there is no evidence, the people these fanboys like Coulthart here have to come out with all this bloody science fiction nonsense, which is exactly what it is. Just think about the people that live in that country, wherever this thing is. How long would it take from all those construction workers? How long would it take for that story to get out? How many video clips from phones would be out there?
Let's just go away and ignore it. Let's test it.
Let's not go away. I don't think any of the bleating debunkers, as he calls them. I don't think I'm a bleating debunker. I think I've got a serious interest in this, and all I'm saying is show me the evidence. That's all anybody's saying. We're not saying forget about it, don't investigate it. That's the last thing we want. We want it investigated. Is it real? Is it not? Let's put this thing to bed once and for all. But I'll make a bold prediction. This is science fiction nonsense.
We haven't even got there yet. You know, there's a whole cadre.
The debunkers don't want to test it. They just want to go, they just want to moan
Completely untrue.
and whinge and wash their head.
Completely untrue. What debunkers do you know that don't want this investigated? That want to wash their hands of it? Now, I'm not a member of any skeptic society. But from what I've seen, I mean, the few that I've seen are saying exactly what I'm saying. And that is, put up or shut up. Show us the evidence. Or stop with the science fiction stories.
Head and then go, praise the cash, pay me. mentioning no names.
So, well, now, of course, it's locked up. Is he going to say something else? Oh, it's bloody frozen. That's typical, isn't it? Okay, well, I think...
supposed experts on social media
Okay, it started moving again.
who are saying it can't be, therefore it isn't. And that's...
I don't know any that are saying that. Maybe if any of you know, maybe you could leave some names below and I'll have a look at what they're saying. It can't be, therefore it isn't. I'm saying I don't believe it is. It's an extraordinary claim. Show me some extraordinary evidence and I'll accept it. Be happy to accept it. I certainly want it investigated. But critical thinking, critical thinking tells me this is absolute nonsense. You know, it crashed in another country. How many people would have seen that? As size of a football field. How many people would have been involved in constructing a building around it? So the building is going to have power, security systems, you know, as well as the actual construction itself. How many people would be involved in that? How many security people would be involved in, you know, keeping the site quarantined while all this was going on? It's complete and utter rubbish. It's nonsense. If you can show me where this is, and you know, there's some evidence removed from the building and it's peer reviewed by academia, happy to accept it. But I'm not happy to accept these ridiculous science fiction stories that these people are putting out to maintain some intrigue in this subject. That's all it is. That's why Congress is saying we want everything, any evidence of any research, people working on these projects to be presented to Arrow. That's their investigative, their official investigative team, within 6 months. Because they're fed up with hearing all this bloody rubbish. They want to know whether it's real or not.
It's been the default for so many years. It can't be, therefore it isn't.
That's like, that's actually...
No, that's not the default position at all. The default position is show me some evidence and I'll believe it. Otherwise, it's a science fiction story. It's not that it can't be. You know, the chances of it being an alien spacecraft are infinitesimal, you know, because of the distances involved. Because of the technology you would need to develop to be able to travel interstellar distances with a spacecraft large enough to have a crew, something like the USS Enterprise. You know, he's talking about something here the size of a football field. You know, how many crew are going to be in this thing? What happened to them for a start? So if you've got a spacecraft as big as a football field, why is it as big as a football field? Because it's going to be some kind of mothership, like the USS Enterprise. So it's going to be going around the galaxy on this mission, you know. It's probably going to have shuttlecraft, going to have engineers, technicians, you know, cooks. It's going to have it's going to have all sorts of people required on the crew, isn't it? Where are they? Where's the crew? You know, this guy is just—he's just a UFO fanboy, and he's got zero critical thinking ability.
True, this is what they say. I mean, I don't know how many of you read Nexus magazine. Probably quite a lot of you.
Oh God, yeah. No, but nobody with any serious interest in researching anything like this is going to read Nexus magazine. It's just full of complete and utter nonsense. Complete waste of time. Okay, I think that's gonna do. This is just a very quick video because I hadn't heard this. That you know, this large spacecraft has crashed outside of the USA, and it's too big to move, so they've put a building over it. Okay, now hands up, everybody that thinks that is even slightly plausible. Oh, put your hands down. Put your hand down, Jenkins. You stupid boy. It's ludicrous. Complete and utter nonsense. Unless proved with tangible evidence to be otherwise. How many hundreds of thousands of mobile phones would have been in people's pockets working on that project? Not one video clip. Not one still photograph. Not one person has come forward to say they were involved in it. Complete and utter nonsense. Okay, well, as always, thanks for watching. I'm going to make another short video, actually. I saw something on Channel 7 TV over here in Australia a little while ago that I thought was, well, it was only a couple of days ago, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. So I'm going to make a little video about that one as well. So, yeah, keep an eye out for that one coming probably later on today. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you around.